What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of the Sit Down. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button and let me know what you think of the discussion in the comment section below. If this video here on a Saturday gets to 1,000 likes, I will give one lucky commenter a cash prize. The quicker we get to 1,000, the quicker I announce the winner on my community tab. So make sure you hit that like button. If you're new around here, you just haven't done it yet, or you're living under a rock and seeing this video for the first time, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button below now so you never miss another sit-down video. As always, we are presented by Barstool Sports. Let's get in, ladies and gentlemen, to another very interesting crime topic. And there's a question that is asked all the time in the world of the Mafia. What do we know about John Gotti Jr.? Well, today we're going to talk about it. But first, I want to get into a little dictionary work. What is the meaning of omerta? What we know as the code of silence. But what does the dictionary say about omerta? According to Oxford Languages, it is a noun. And it says practiced by the Mafia, a code of silence about criminal activity and a refusal to give evidence to authorities. So what exactly is that saying? Essentially, it's saying that if you belong to a criminal organization like the Mafia, the sole and insular rule is that you never talk to the police. Now, something we would find interesting is that in the several hundred years of the Mafia's existence, they have lasted on their rules. You also look at the criminal landscape in the world today. Everyone from terrorist groups to cartels, to separatist organizations, to biker gangs, to street gangs. They all use the code of silence. Omerta has become something that has pervaded criminal activity, and every criminal group use it. For the Mafia, it allowed them to be one of the most premier organizations in America. Nobody knew the rules. That was until Joe Valachi broke his omerta and spoke to the federal authorities. When you were in the Mafia and you become a made member of the Mafia, you take an initiation and pledge that you will follow the rituals of the Mafia. On Christmas Eve, 1988, John Gotti Jr. took that ritual and took that initiation to never speak to your authorities and always protect your friends. Today, we're going to get into the very highly debated 302 of John Gotti. Remember this, though. It's not what's in the document. It's that he even sat down to begin with. The story of John Gotti's 302 next on Sit Down Shorts. As we've said many times, and I don't need to say this over, but I will. If you are new to this genre, John Gotti Jr. is the son of the late Gambino boss, John Gotti Sr. He would follow his father into the world of the Mafia and become a made man in 1988 in a ceremony on Christmas Eve alongside the likes of Bartholomew Bobby Borriello and Mikey Scars Di Leonardo. Now, in 2005, John Gotti Jr., facing a trial, decided that alongside his lawyers, he wanted to speak about the world of the Mafia. Now, it's important to understand, according to John Gotti Jr., he would say that he was out of the life by this point. But one thing we also know about the world of the Mafia is you can't leave the life, okay? They don't have a playbook on, hey, I don't like doing this anymore, so I'm going to leave. Doesn't really work like that. And as we've said, this is an organization that for hundreds of years has lived on its rules. So again, when we read some of the blatant bullet points here, we have to understand that even going into this meeting was a blatant violation of the code that he took as he was seasoned by his father in this world. Let's get into the 302 and let's take a little bit of a deeper look at it. This is page 1. Now, obviously, in the first paragraph, if you will, it essentially just illustrates that John Gotti, also known as Junior Gotti, was present at the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, 500 Pearl Street in New York, on January 18th, 2005. And we are essentially 18 years away from the day of this proffer session. Now, also there, as customary, is Junior's lawyer, Jeffrey Lichtman and Mark Fernier, as well as assistant U.S. attorneys, Robert Bueller, June Kim, and Jennifer Rogers. Now, the first point of information that John Gotti divulges is about the murder of an individual called Danny Silva. Now, keep in mind, think about what you are seeing here. This is a sitting member of the Mafia sitting with the government, dispelling crimes that he's involved with or has committed alongside other members. Let's go to page 2. Now, on page 2, this is essentially a lot about Angelo Quack Quack Ruggiero. Now, Gotti discusses meetings with Ruggiero. In one instance, Ruggiero was carrying a brown paper bag containing $25,000 in cash. Now, Gotti Jr. would say he observed Ruggiero sitting in the rear of the diner and met with an individual called Daly and an unknown white male. Ruggiero advised Gotti Jr. that the $25,000 cash payment was made to Daly to get his, Gotti Jr.'s name, out of the Silver Fox murder investigation. Now, this would have to do with the hit on Danny Silva. So what he's basically saying is, alongside Ruggiero, they connected with someone that was able to make this charge go away. Okay, so this is a crime about him. And what he's doing is he's putting other people into the crime as well. Here's what we did to get out of this murder. Again, the details in this proffer session are not important. That's what I'm trying to convey. And that's what I'm trying to get and wonder what others think about this. Again, I will ask, let's look at the people that did follow the rules. For instance, John Gotti Sr. We have to remember that at the time of John Gotti Sr.'s death, and this has been widely reported, he was in horrible health. He was essentially chained to a bed to die. Now, all this person had to do was say, you know what? I want to talk. But he didn't. He's steadfast in the rules of the Mafia, the ones that he took in the same initiation decades before. This is someone that believed in the rules so much that he died chained to a bed. Think about that. The Mafia ruled because of its rules, and people like John Gotti Sr., we have to respect his steadfast approach to the rules, whether we agree with some of his behavior or not. He emphasized and exuded the word omerta. His son, on the other hand, did not. Now, in subsequent pages, i.e. page 4, Mr. Gotti continues to add people into conversations. On page 4, according to Gotti Jr., David Norkin was a partner of his. Now, in a venture where they were dealing with real estate, Gotti Jr. advised that bribes were paid to at least 2 city politicians in order to secure certain permits required for developments of the project. So he and Mr. Norkin are involved in real estate, and they are bribing people. Now, according to John Gotti Jr., Joe Zingaro, a captain in the Gambino family, had a close association with a Bronx politician called Effie Gonzalez. Gotti Jr. would say he gave $20,000 in cash to Mr. Zingaro for Zingaro to give to Gonzalez. According to Zingaro, Gonzalez accepted the $20K. Gotti Jr. used the alias John Russo in meeting Gonzalez at a function they both attended at a catering hall in the Bronx. Now, Gotti would continue to double down and add names into this. According to Gotti Jr., initial bribe money was paid to another person called Fernando Ferrer. Norkin suggested making the payments to Ferrer. According to Gotti Jr., on at least 2 different occasions, he gave $25K in cash to Norkin for Norkin to give to Ferrer. Gotti Jr.'s close associate, Michael McLaughlin, would deliver the money. Gotti Jr., again, using the alias John Russo, also met directly with Ferrer at Norkin's office. According to Gotti Jr., the bribes paid to Ferrer did secure whatever permits Gotti Jr. and his associates needed to obtain for their project. So again, Mr. Gotti Jr. is continuing to add people's names into criminal behavior. He is telling the federal government crimes that are committed, including bribery, all sorts of different things. Remember, this is a sitting member of the Mafia who took an oath not to speak to the police or any police organization. The final page is page 5, and it is the final page of this document. Gotti Jr. would also say in approximately the spring of 1990, he and another Gambino family members pursued another project involving a garbage dump. The dump was located in Matamoros, Pennsylvania. Gotti Jr. would attend a sit-down with other members of the Gambino family, as well as other high-ranking members of the Lucchese crime family concerning this project. On behalf of the Gambino family, Jr. continually referred to as our family. Okay, so he's admitting to the fact that not only he is a part of the Mafia, but that he runs the Mafia of that family. Again, admitting to the fact that he's in the Mafia, a blatant violation of his oath. Gotti Jr., as well as his uncle, keep in mind he's putting family members into this, as well as Sammy the Bull Gravano, met with the representatives of the Lucchese crime family, including Alphonse Little Al Diarco, Anthony Gaspipe Casso, and Patty Maselli. According to Gotti Jr., the deal to purchase and operate this garbage dump fell through. Now, in the final tab and paragraph of this, Gotti Jr. would also state that a Gambino family member, Anthony Tony Lee Guerreri, and his relationship with local politician Sal Reale. The Gambino family had, quote, influence with the Queens District Attorney Office, while John Santucci with the District Attorney. Gotti Jr. would also identify a person called Mike Churro as the Gambino's family go-to guy. Gotti Jr. also advised that the Guerreri died. The Gambino family lost most of their influence with the Queens District Attorney. So Mr. Guerreri is dead, so we can't prosecute him. However, Mr. Gotti would make it very simple for the government to do that. He would also make it very simple for people in the Queens District Attorney Office that are corrupt to be jammed up as well. Are we starting to see a pattern here? Okay, that's, again, these are just facts. This is not speculation or circumstantial. These are facts, and these review the meeting that Mr. Gotti had factually with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, this document ends on page 5, as I said. For me, when you look at these documents, I want to know what you think on this. Like I've said before, to me, what is said in these documents is important, and I definitely want to read it, but to me, it's not important because the job that Gotti Jr. had was simply never doing that, never going into that office and speaking with anyone. Because in 1988, as I said, Mr. Gotti took the oath of never speaking to the Mafia. If we go back to what the meaning of omerta is, it is a code of silence about criminal activity and a refusal to give evidence to authorities. Sounds like a blatant violation to me. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. We'll end with this. As I said, the question I would have, what would John Gotti Sr. think about this meeting? What would every person that died in federal prison because of their refusal to speak to police think about this decision? What do you think? As I said, let me know in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching. Next week, I have a very interesting video coming out on another individual that spoke to the police, John A. Light. We're going to speak about his life. Who exactly is he? And what and did he do in the Mafia or connected to the Mafia? We'll see you next week here on The Sit Down.